item number 2, which is board operations, which are board norms. And Teresa, I think you've historically done that. Do you want to do that again today?
Sure,
Okay,
why not?
thank you.
I can't get my microphone to work, but I think I'm pretty loud already.
Typo.
We'll get that one.
Oh, there you go.
A little swerve, you gotta get to it.
There we go.
It's the nails. Okay. We use facts and data to inform our decisions in accordance with the interests of the overall district as a whole and not any particular segment thereof. We would support the delegation of authority of the superintendent in the day-to-day district operations and act in accordance to the 6 governing documents. We support the board decisions. We come to the board meetings informed and prepared. We honor our elected roles by being in attendance. We will honor all voices by encouraging individual input and listening to others.
Thank you very much. Okay. With that, we'll go on to item number 3, excuse me, which is approval of the agenda. And I know that we have a couple of things that we need to amend. I first would like to make a motion to delete an item 1.02. It's literally a typo on the agenda. So if I could get my board members to make an appropriate motion and second.
You motion, I second.
Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded.
I'm sorry, President. Who was the first?
I was.
She motioned.
And she
I
seconded.
second.
Got you.
Okay. So it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of removing agenda item number 1.02, which is literally a typographical error, we need to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Are there other items that need to be amended or changed as it relates to the approval of the agenda?
Yes, I would like to make an amendment to add the MSBA delegate to the agenda
Okay.
for tonight.
Okay, and we're adding that under what? Items for discussion and action?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. It's been moved that we add to the agenda the discussion on MSBA delegates to our items for discussion and actions.
And that would be 7 point.
7.04. Can we get a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. So it's been moved and properly seconded that we add a discussion for MSBA delegate and alternate to our discussion and action section, and it will be number 7.04. Okay. Any other additions or subtractions for the agenda?
I motion that we move the IBB contract to this agenda for the items for discussion and action.
Okay. And so that would be item 7.05. And that would be the IBB teacher contract discussion. So it has been moved by Vice President Edwards. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we move the IBB teacher contract discussion from the executive session agenda to this agenda, and that it is labeled item 7.05. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Board President, the appropriate title is the IBB agreement.
Agreement. Okay, thank you. Do we need to make an amendment of that in the minutes, or are we good?
It looks like it's on
Okay,
there.
okay.
So are you trying to move it from items to consent to items to
I
discussion?
think it's where it should be.
Yeah.
I didn't see it down there. It's where it's an 8.06 item for consent.
Oh, you had it on there.
It's
Okay.
on there.
This
It's on
is
the
edited.
back.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you want to leave it there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll leave it at, do we need to undo the amendment? Okay.
Yes.
So let's if someone would please make a motion to remove that item.
I make a motion to remove item 7.05 IBB agreement
Okay.
for it's already on the agenda at 8.06.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we acknowledge that item 7.05, which was just added, is on the agenda as item 8.06. And so we want to delete the original, or delete the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed, President?
Any opposed? I think not. Okay. All right. So with that, I think we are ready to approve the agenda. Okay. Can I get someone to motion? Well, I'm going to motion that we approve the agenda. Can I get someone to second it?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
All right. Anybody opposed? Sorry, I guess I should ask that. Okay. All right. I'm getting the hang of this, y'all. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into section number 4.0, and that is public comments. And I believe we have two public comments. We have, I'm going to say first up, Lenora Pearson, and Director Norm, if you would please give them the overview of what it is that they need to say.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to see you through my glasses. Oh, I
So,
see.
Madam President, members of the board, superintendent, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for attending tonight's Normandy Schools Collaborative Board of Education meeting. Before we begin, we will review the importance of conducting a productive and orderly meeting. For those community members in attendance who have signed up for public comments, please come to the podium when the board president calls your name. Out of respect for everyone in attendance, yelling, foul language, props, visuals, and addressing the audience are not permitted. Public speakers may not identify staff or students by name. In addition, audience members are not allowed to speak, yell, or cause any disruption during public comments. This ensures the Board of Education is able to listen and transition to the next speaker. The remainder of the meeting is designated for the board to work with the superintendent and staff to conduct the work as outlined in the agenda. Patrons who stay in attendance for the remainder of the meeting after public comments do so in an observatory role. Please note that those who disrupt the meeting in any capacity will be asked to leave and may lose the opportunity to attend future meetings. We want to thank you again for attending tonight's meeting, and now we will proceed with the agenda.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The first person that I had down was Lenora Pearson. Is Lenora Pearson here? Lenora Pearson? No? Okay. Well, we'll go to the next person. If Lenora joins us, we'll add her in. The next person is Monica Jefferson. If you want to come up to the podium here. Thank you.
Good evening, Board and Board President and Superintendent Triplett. My name is Monica Jefferson, and I just had a couple items that I was seeking clarification on or asking questions about. It seems like a long time now, but it was last month's meeting. So my first question and concern was the election of board officers. I watched the video, and approximately 10 minutes in, nominations were taken for the Board of Education secretary. And Ms. Pearson nominated herself first. And then after she nominated herself, Ms. Violet Taylor was nominated by Director Dr. Petty. So then the superintendent said that a roll call vote would be take place beginning in the order of nominations. So after he stated that, then Ms. Rigsby reiterated it and said it would be taken in order of nominations. And then she said, we'll start on the other end, which was down here. So the first vote was taken. There were 4 yeses and 3 nos. And my question is, after that vote was taken, Ms. Pearson won that election, and then somebody said, well, wait a minute, what were we voting on? And I think it was either Dr. Petty or Board President Roberts who said it first. And my question is just for clarification and legal purposes, was this done correctly, and has anyone been consulted, like the board attorney or someone? I just had real questions and concern about that and the order in which it was done. And my second comment or question was, I was watching the work session and it just abruptly ended and it never came back on. So I'm trying to figure out, was it a technical error or are we no longer live streaming? And just had concerns about that. I oftentimes have other commitments, but I do watch the board meetings, sometimes late at night or whatever, but I do like watching them. So I just have concerns. And in the spirit of transparency and everything, I just like those two things addressed. I don't know what mode they would be addressed in, but I would really like to hear answers to my questions or concerns or have them addressed. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in case you don't know, we are not allowed to actually answer that question right now, but what we will do is we will get back with you and let you know the answer to your question, okay? Okay, did Leonora Pearson come in by chance? No? Okay. Okay, well, we'll just hold her card and maybe she'll want to speak with us next meeting, so we'll hold on to that. Okay. Are there any other public comments that you have? You don't have any other cards, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So with that being said, we're going to go on. We're going to move on to item number 5, which is always a fun item for us. And this is recognition. And it's kind of like a highlight of everyone's day because we've got some really cool things happening in our district. And so we want to make sure that we're sharing those with you. And I'm going to come around. I guess I better take glasses so I can see.
Good evening, Board President Milton Roberts, Superintendent Triplett, members of the board. We do have some recognitions this evening, so if you would come forward, please. During a special luncheon last month, Normandy High School junior Solomon Johnson was honored with the Emerging Young Leader Award by the Royal Vagabonds. The Royal Vagabonds Foundation is dedicated to supporting young people in their educational and personal development, and Solomon's recognition reflects his leadership, commitment, and bright future. We'd like to all congratulate Solomon. He unfortunately could not make it to the meeting this evening, but we do have Principal Nabe to come up and accept his recognition. At this time, we'd like to invite Marisha Griffin-Essex, Passion Haythorne, and Dr. Vivian Johnson up front. We want to congratulate these 3 proud Normandy staff members. They secured a $55,000 grant. $55,000 $800 grant from the Innovative Technology Grant Fund to support students who are suffering from trauma. This funding will help launch 2 special emotional learning lounges at Normandy High School and Normandy Middle School to support students who have been impacted by trauma. Each lounge will feature 5 interactive zones where students can build emotional awareness, reduce stress, and develop wellness and career readiness skills through schools like virtual reality and mindful apps. We're excited to see these inspiring educators bring meaningful student-centered innovation to our school. And at this time, we'd like to invite Miss Angela Allow to the front. There she is. Normandy Schools Collaborative Superintendent Dr. Michael Triplett visits classrooms daily to observe firsthand how our scholars are learning and growing. During these visits, he often witnesses the powerful connections and meaningful moments between teachers and students, which he describes as the magic of teaching and learning in action. During a recent visit to Miss Alau's kindergarten class at the Early Learning Center, Dr. Triplett was so moved by what he observed that he wrote a heartfelt letter of thanks to Miss Alau and her scholars, and shared it not just with Miss Alau or all the employees of Normandy Schools Collaborative, with the community as a whole. We want to take this opportunity to also publicly recognize Miss Alau for her outstanding dedication to her students and our district. Her ability to create meaningful, life-changing connections in the classroom is truly commendable. Thank you.
Those moments always make everyone smile, so I'm excited about that. Very, very, very excited.
President, I also want to recognize Chloe Oziel. Is that how you pronounce his name? Oziel, Mariana, Harper, Knox, Bella, Nazir, Santiago, Olivia, Marvelous, Aries, Winter, Jared, and Micah for being amazing readers that day.
Wonderful. That's what we'd like to hear. That's wonderful. Okay. All right. So now with that, we're going to go in to some of the business items here. And so we're going to move down to item number 6, which is items for information. And we're going to start out with item 6.01, the attendance update as of April the 30th, 2025.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Triplett, Ms.
Good evening,
Rigsby,
Reverend. It sounds like a reverend.
President Milton Roberts, and the rest of the board. I won't be before you long this evening.
This feels like church.
Take your time, Pastor.
Yeah, take your time. It feels like church right now.
If you can open your books to the this is great news for the district. As you all know, attendance is very important for success. Students have to be in the class and in seats to progress. Our strategic priority for our attendance presentation is strategic priority 1, engaging environments, to provide safe and engaging learning environments with robust social emotional well-being and trauma-informed supports. Attendance supports students learning and being engaged. As expected, the district has had an increase as we thought. Again, we've had a 4% increase to having an 89% 90-90 for the month of April. That's pretty good. As a district, we're at 85% and are continuing to push our students to come to school every day and finish the year strong. The number of parents or guardians that are signing into Power School, again, is continuing to increase. As of April, we've had 706 parents signing up, and that number is going up every day. That number continues to increase due to the many stakeholders who are really working hard to ensure parents get an opportunity to sign up and help them at every opportunity. Those who are helping out, the stakeholders, the communications department, they continue to get the information out in addition to many reminders. Also, Mr. Parker, who is our interim parent engagement and community involvement specialist, he held our first Power School night at the high school. And we had a nice turnout, but that was the first of many. Additionally, principals in the district have done a great job of ensuring that parents are getting this information, being able to help them when they have struggles, and also hosting events at their school. Any questions regarding the attendance presentation?
Start down here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Who won the friendly competition for sign-ups for Power School?
Oh, Washington killed that.
Oh, and by the way, Dr. Brooks, I am signed up and I have the app also.
I'm proud of you. You are a role model.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I was able to attend the event, and it was spectacular.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was really cool seeing, I see some faces in here that were there, and I really appreciate that. For those that are online or that are not here, you really missed it. Mr. Parker knocked it out of the park with making sure everything was set up and organized very, very well. There were many, many people, many, many hands to help people to sign up. And even for Teresa and for Erica, they did not make it too difficult for them to get that signed up because they were kind of struggling with that a little bit, but they worked.
I was signed up before the
You
event.
were signed up? Okay, all right. I put you out there.
Yeah, I was signed up before the event.
just to let them know that we're all human here. So, you know, I think it's really great that you all are doing that because it can be complicated. I mean, I'm not that great with some of the, mechanical pieces. So, for the folks that are out there listening, if there is help that you need, please seek us out because we've got people here to help you.
That's right. In addition to district personnel, we had vendors that were there to support as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it was very
it was a
nice.
good thing. Before I leave, I'm sorry,
No,
any other questions?
That's what I was going to say. Do you have any questions? Any questions down here? No questions down here? Okay.
I want to give two brief updates. The first update is regarding summer school.
Okay.
All principals have been hired. Currently, all teachers are in the process of being hired for summer school. Summer school, as you know, runs from June 4th and ends July 3rd. Summer school enrollment ended on Friday, May 9th. Our enrollment at the end of the period was 694. Also, the last thing regarding summer school, professional development for summer school teachers has been set up already. So as soon as teachers are hired, they'll be attending PD for summer school. Update regarding student enrollment for 25-26. Regarding Power School, you cannot start a cycle until you end one. Hence, with summer school cycle ending on Friday, we are now in the process of working on summer school enrollment. 25-26 enrollment. Ms. Gaskin, our coordinator of information and data systems, is working with multiple departments to ensure everyone is involved, in addition to her liaison with Power School, so we can get this up and running as soon as possible. The biggest concern is making sure we don't have any errors. So we want to do it right the first time. So this date for enrollment will be opening soon. The projected enrollment for the 25-26 school year is 3,217. That's a robust number, second only to 2018 and 2019, when we had 3,444 students that were scheduled for enrollment. So that's a great number.
Okay, thank you.
When is enrollment for school next school year again?
Right now, we're working with the liaison, so ideally, the enrollment should be open next week. That's the plan.
Okay.
But I'm working again with Ms. Gaskin to ensure that we can do that as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm be on time this time.
Okay.
I'll make sure, I'll talk to you, make sure we're on the same page.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Deanna, anybody? Mr. Petty? Any questions?
Question. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brooks, is it Dr. Brooks?
Yes, ma'am. You
have
can
a
call me Tony.
Dr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
The projected number, how did you come up with the projected number of the 3217? Is that something from our continuous enrollment over the school year?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's, again, I get that information, that formula from Ms. Gaskin.
I do have a question also. So in that 3217, is it about equally, spread out, do you think, as it relates to the elementary schools and so forth, or are we going to have some shifting that we're going to have to do?
No, ma'am. Nothing is changing regarding any school. It's literally spread out across the district.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this end? No? Okay. If we have no more questions, we thank you for your report, and thank you for being so thorough.
Thank you.
All right. With that, I believe we can move on to number 6.02, which is KAI Prep 5 and construction update. And we have Mr. Jossie Haynes here.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, Dr. Triplett, President, newly appointed. Congratulations.
Thank
It's good
you.
to see you guys up there. And everybody in the audience. All right. All right, so executive summary for Prop V. This is our process for change orders or any amendments to the contract. Current completion schedules, Bell Ridge bus lot improvements is slated to end third quarter. We have additional facility support that's slated to end on the end of fourth quarter of 2025 as well. Viking Hall interior cosmetic upgrades, track concession stand and updates, the press box interior updates, and facility master plans services, which will start. We actually have a scheduled date for the first meeting, which will be on June 5th. The phased plan and the efforts will go on into 2026. It's not moving any longer.
There it goes.
Okay. So this is just a list of the projects and the actual items that will be handled. So new football field, track and field concession stand updates. Contractor for the field will be Byrne and Jones. Except, okay. Computer's doing some things over here. All right. Update to the interior press box and playback camera, etc. Concession stand, restrooms, and ADA compliance. Storage area, cosmetic upgrades to Viking Hall. So we're underway with that. We've been in design on that particular scope and just looking at with the AD going through that particular scope. The ADA compliance for those restrooms. The restrooms are going to need some work on the first level. They've been used for basketball or, for the coaches area. And we're going to be doing some major rehaul on that. So I think we have tomorrow coming in a camera going to be looking at the plumbing system to make sure that before we go into finish our design that we have anything that could happen bad is identified before we get too far into the process. Very similar to like we did to this room. Transition strip around the floor will be updated as well in Viking Hall.
That's going to be nice.
This is not working, so will the church say amen?
Amen. Take your time, Pastor.
There we go.
I don't know what's going on. Why
That looks good.
it works for you. Maybe you need to stand here and just press it for me. Additional, so this is just a picture of this is a rendering of the Viking, what I'm going to call it. This is the multi-purpose field renovations. So, and here is the going to be the multi-purpose field renovations scoreboard.
That's pretty.
Here's, we recently had the groundbreaking. Those who were in attendance know they were there, but those who weren't, I just wanted to make sure we had some slides here just talking about that recognition. We had some great, we didn't have any rain, which was a blessing.
Yes, that was.
So it was good for us to do that, but the project is going to get started. We're working through MSD and just getting those particular allowances made. Here's just a more detailed view of what's happening over at the Viking Hall as a cosmetic upgrade. Just identifying the concession stand area, the front doors that will be updated. We've been looking at, the original task was to just make sure that we're doing anything that needs to be done in this facility, not really remodeling the whole space, but just making it more presentable and usable for games and different opportunities that the school can use. So right now we're going through a very stringent process of looking at these different scopes, and this is just an overview of what those scopes look like. Additional work, this is looking at the restrooms in the Viking Hall on the lower level. And here is the Bell Ridge bus lot improvement. So this is just a reminder that this work is still underway. We had discussions even up until today, just talking about the usability and the facility and the work that's going to be done. So again, there's 15 buses all together with 15 charging stations. So here's the ESSER fund projections, which was asked to be provided. Mr. Carlton Brooks asked us to make sure that we are looking at this so the school has an idea of how the funds will be expended throughout the year for the work that we're working on. Just a reminder, Annie Malone Parade is this weekend, May 18th, and I believe that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Good evening, Jossie. How
Good
are
evening.
you?
I'm great.
I just want to say thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing, putting it into this project, making sure that, you know, we have all things necessary for our kids, state of the art, you know, making sure that they don't go without, like our surrounding districts. They had the same thing that everybody else has. I do want to say the groundbreaking ceremony was nice. I had a chance to speak, and I forgot somebody, and that was Director William Humphrey. He has been the pillar in these construction meetings for everything throughout the district, and how could I forget him? So I want to say thank you, William Humphrey, for all your work.
It's all for the children.
Yes, that is it.
Any questions down this end?
I do.
Okay.
Hi, Jossie.
Hello.
I really don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for following through with this project. As a alum of Normandy, it's good to see that how our school should have been is coming to fruition. Viking Hall is one of the biggest gyms in St. Louis. I miss going to the Christmas tournament, so hopefully that's something that we could bring back along with Friday Night Lights for the football, because we never had that. So I just want to say thank you for sticking through us, answering all of my difficult questions. I was also part of the groundbreaking, even though, I know I don't know how to shovel. I'm just a girl. But I thank you for being a part of our community, because at the end of the day, Normandy is a community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have something?
Yeah, just had one brief comment. As you were making your presentation, you mentioned June 5th as the start for the facilities plan.
Yes, sir.
So I'm excited, so I can now put my gasoline down and not have to make any more fires. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, I told you that it would be done between the second and third quarter. Just holding up to my promises.
Well, I do all things with a sense of urgency.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I also want to just say thank you all for those who are coming to the bond meetings and having the conversations during the time when we're dealing with some of the difficult conversations about the school, the age of the school, the challenging facilities that we're dealing with. And as we get into the facilities master plan, we'll see more of that. And I believe in this district, and I believe in the work that we're doing. And I'm so excited for the babies that are going to be reflected with the work that's going to be that will be done when we're done. So I'm excited about that.
we're excited about working with you on it as well, okay? And I'm going to second what Vice President Edwards said. Thank you very much, Mr. Humphrey, because I know you put lots of time and energy and hours into, following up on that. So we really do appreciate that. But also want to say thank you to you because it's very clear that it's not just a project for you, but rather that, you take the time to educate us a little bit about, why we might want to do this versus that and so on. And that is so very much appreciated. And also shedding light on, perhaps what, where we are right now versus where we might want to be,
Right.
in the future. And also coming forward with, some cool ideas about how we can use some of the technology and things like that. So we really appreciate that care and that, the level of excellence that you put into everything you do, but also that care that you bring to it as well. So we really do appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. No other questions? Okay, thank you very much. All right. We are now able to move into the item 6.03, which is the board financial report. So we're going to get some numbers.
Good evening, Joint Executive Governing Board, Dr. Triplett, and Normandy Schools community. Great to see you all, your wonderful faces this evening. It is a pleasure to come before you with regard to the district's financial position, especially given the fact that the district has had some solid, results. So year to date, looking through year to date March 31st of this year, we have savings or earnings of roughly $28.3 million that we have banked out of all of our funds, which represents about a 41.97%, just under a 42% overall fund reserve balance. Year to date through March, we've generated or have returns or receipts of about $51.4 million in revenues coming in. That's roughly 80% of what we had calculated on the budget in terms of revenues coming in through March. So that's pretty solid. Additionally, we have expenditures coming in through March, just under $50 million at $49.9 million. So we have a fund reserve that's pushing our fund reserve even higher. So our overall fund reserve in our operating funds, which again would be our teachers fund and our general funds, comes in at equates to a 33.98, just right under 34% of fund reserve balance when you're looking at the budget. That's pretty solid when you compare that with the state's mandatory requirement and operating funds of 3%. So you've got roughly fund reserve that's like 11 times the state requirement. That's our financial position. As I've mentioned, if you look at our ending fund reserves that were audited as of last June 30th, we had $26.880 million banked. Again, as I've mentioned, we have generated revenues of $51.3 million year to date through March. Associated expenditures at $49.8, which has pushed up our ending fund reserve to the $28.3 million level. That's pretty solid. Again, as I've mentioned, we have just under a 42% overall fund reserve balance and roughly just under a 34% operating reserve or ratio in our operating funds. Now, to talk about some of the things that we've got going on with regard to our financial operations, we continue to work in developing the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And we will be entertaining you with a budget workshop, as you know. That's going to be slated for May the 29th. So we will, at that time, of course, we're working hard. Dr. Triplett and his team, our team, we're working hard to put together the budget, a strong budget for the upcoming fiscal year. But we will sit down with you and take considerations from you, and we will walk through this process with you on May 29th, and we look forward to doing so. Secondly, we continue to work with the Highland Fleet Company on the acquisition of the 15 new electric buses that we've got on slate that are going to be received later this fall. And as Jossie Haynes had mentioned, he's working with Evelyn Days and her group and others to really get that transportation depot where it needs to be. We've got some great things going on with that. We'll be working with Chris Trahan and his group and having another groundbreaking ceremony just right around on the horizon to basically break ground with that transportation depot. Again, you'll receive information on that from Ms. Rigsby and Dr. Triplett and others in the coming days. We continue to work with our human resources group as we have our accounting system that we're going to be going after, the new accounting and HR system that will consolidate our HR and our accounting operations into more of a one-stop shop. So that's a great product that we've got that Ms. Gilliard and I and our groups are working to pull together. We are working with our transportation management group firm, Transpart, and we have a representative actually in the audience here. Dr. Triplett and I are working with him along with Ms. Days and Ms. Weaver to really lay down a good quality agreement, and we will be bringing that to the board in the near future for consideration and approval. And then finally, we have a formal, I've mentioned to you about the groundbreaking thing, but I do want to mention one other thing. We've talked a little bit about this. This is going to be something as KI is looking at the master plan, the long-term master plan. We are going to be looking at a bond effort, okay, that we would hope to talk more about in the fall. Dr. Triplett and I and our teams will be talking more with you about this, but we are working with our bond underwriter firm, Stifel Nicholas, at this, and this may look at like a $35 million or so bond issue or effort to address the rest of our facilities district-wide. Of course, we know we've had a lot of attention at the high school, which is warranted, but we're going to be going back in, and this will be itemized in the master plan as we go into all of the buildings and look at what's going on. What can we do? What needs to be done in these respective buildings to bring our district fully, top shelf? We've got a lot of great things going on, you all. Take it from someone that's worked in other districts. This is amazing. We've got some things that are unprecedented on the cusp that we've got going on with the construction, with our instructional efforts, all the things that are going on. This is really making our district a premier district here regionally. And so we will have more to say to you about that in the coming weeks and months. And with that, without further ado, I'm going to entertain any questions that you might have at this time.
I'll start at this end this time. Mr. Humphrey?
You have no questions?
Okay. Teresa?
Thank you for keeping us informed, Mr. Brooks.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the presentation, and I'm glad to hear that some of that funding will go into some of the other schools in the district as well.
Miss.
I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, for all the work that you're doing. I do want to say, though, you mentioned the groundbreaking ceremony. I want to charge you, or let me say, Superintendent, that we reach out to our municipalities when we do the groundbreaking ceremonies, because it's taxpayer dollars that we're spending to make sure our facilities are up to par. So we need to make sure that we build those relationships with them and invite them to our groundbreaking ceremonies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks. It's really great to see the strong fund balances, both overall and with the operating balance in this climate of financial uncertainty. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Petty.
I have no questions. Thank you.
And I'm just going to close out by saying thank you also. I really appreciate the care and attention that you give to all of our financials, and the fact that even though I ask questions sometimes that you probably are wondering why I'm asking it, I appreciate you taking the time to try to make sure that we all understand and can really track with what it is that you're doing. That makes us stronger when we all understand all the financials and then we work together on that. And so I really look at what we're doing with our financials as us being leaders in this particular area, and that others can look at us as to how we're managing our money and so forth. So I really appreciate that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. The next item on here, near and dear to our heart, is point number 6.04, which is the CSIP update.
Good afternoon, board and community. So just a brief update on our CSIP process. So we began this process in 2023, where we surveyed the community and the district around who wanted to participate on that committee. And we got a nice number of responses. We started out with about 26 stakeholders, internal and external, and we average every meeting probably somewhere between 10 and 13, 14. Since that number has dwindled, so we're still pushing forward. Well, we were still pushing forward, but the CSIP committee, through a series of steering committee meetings, focus groups, staff engagement sessions, we gathered a lot of information from parents, from student achievement data, attendance trends and disciplinary referrals, climate and culture surveys, staff retention and salary comparisons, and graduation post-secondary outcomes. We looked at SWOT analysis conducted by Solution Tree. So we had a lot of data that informed the CSIP. And in the CSIP plan, what the committee decided to do, we're still focusing on priorities, but we also created what we call commitments, because we thought that was a really strong word to use with regards to our stakeholders understanding that we're committed to this work. And we focused on 6 commitments, and one was early childhood education, high quality and diverse teachers and leaders, college and career readiness, more resources for all students to be successful, governance and accountability, and engaging environments. I recently had conversations with the state. We were scheduled to have a meeting last week, but I recently had conversations with the state. What we created was a really, really good document, but it wasn't CSIP DESE ready. And so in that conversation, we found that there is a template that we need to use, so we began transferring the information. We're currently transferring that information onto that document. However, I did find out that Normandy Schools Collaborative is cycle 2, meaning we don't have to have our CSIP plan completed until 2026. So that gives us another year to really dig into the CSIP plan. Additionally, I met with, in meeting with the state, they identified a person who's really a champion with assisting with CSIP plans, and her name is Dr. Mary Hendricks Harris, and I have a meeting with her, I believe, this week, and the team to just discuss what could possibly next steps be with regards to either we need to re-engage the CSIP committee or stakeholders, or what do we need to do next to make sure that we're meeting not only the what the stakeholders say we need to do and how we govern in the district, but what is the state's expectations? Are we meeting the state's expectations? And so that meeting will happen this week, and then we'll schedule another meeting with the CSIP committee to just kind of divulge what happened in that meeting and what we need to do with regards to next steps. So please stay tuned. We'll update. The plan is to update each month as we move along this process to make sure we understand where we are, because we want to create a plan that actually lives and everyone knows about it. So the plan is beginning August is to keep updating the community every month with regards to where we are in that process.
Okay. I'm going to start at this end. Do we have any questions?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you speak into your mic?
Oh, your mic, yeah. You gotta slide
Start
it
from
down.
the top and slide down, and then hold the button.
I know. It's too high tech.
Okay, so that's not working. Good evening. So, in the document, was Ms. Pearson Director Pearson the only parent on the committee?
Oh, on the stakeholder committee.
No, we had several parents on the committee.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Actually, I think there were different categories. So we had
Yeah.
parents, we had board members, we had,
business people. Yeah, absolutely. Teachers, administrators.
oh, no, now she's trying to turn it off. Okay. Just,
And so Director Davis Days? Okay,
Davis
good.
Day.
Davis Day. In the CSIP plan, it'll identify all of those stakeholders who are part of that process.
Yeah. When I looked, I believe that I only saw Ms. Pearson's name as a parent
Yeah, you didn't see the because we haven't posted the CSIP plan or anything, so you didn't see that plan or who was involved in that process.
You didn't post a committee,
No.
a list of committee? Yeah, great.
Committee members.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
I think she's speaking of the document of committee members and roles, and it has Dr. Kelly Frazier as
Okay,
Norman
yeah.
Schools Collaborative and Director Pearson as the parent representative.
Right.
That's the
Okay.
document she's speaking of.
And so when we begin to do this work, then there will be an opportunity for us to reconstitute those committees.
That's
if
what
need
the
be?
meeting is for with Dr. Hendricks Harris,
Okay.
to just kind of give us some direction on what we will do next. Do we go back out for stakeholder participation or what that looks like? So
Okay.
we'll let her expertise kind of speak to us.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Dr. Petty, do you have any questions?
I just have one question. As we embark upon the process to address the CSIP plan, how did we discover the template after we started? And how did we discover the actual date that our CSIP plan was due?
Well, a couple of things. One, we were going off the CSIP plan, the strategic plan that was created initially. So let me say that had some concerns from a state standpoint because it wasn't the CSIP, and we didn't know that it wasn't the CSIP. And so we recently discovered that what the CSIP should look like. And so that's where we're going backwards to make sure our CSIP plan looks like a CSIP plan. The other thing is I didn't realize we were Cycle 2. I had no idea we were Cycle 2, and no one informed us that we were Cycle 2 until that meeting. So when we found out that we were Cycle 2, along with that came the deadline of when our CSIP plan is due.
So does that allow us to be, it sounds like this allows us to be a little bit more robust about what we're doing because we're able to go back and to look at those stakeholders and to, get the expert on board and those kinds of things. So hopefully that will help us to do it in a little bit more detail. So, other questions? Dr. Petty, any other questions?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
No questions.
No questions.
No questions?
It was me next, Mr. Humphrey. I only have a comment. Initially, I was added to the committee as a board member, but we needed a parent. We had parents involved, and they showed up and then stopped showing up. So I did my duty as a parent, and President Milton Roberts stepped on as a board member. I look forward to working with you on this plan because what we worked on, I believe, is great for our district and our community.
And President Milton Roberts, one of the reasons we named those 6 big overarching things, commitments, was that it's a really strong word. And when you start talking about what you're committed to, we want people to be committed to the process. And so using that word, we hope that people will commit to the process, and the community commits to the process just like district members are committing to the process.
Right. No, I agree with that. And I guess I have to say this because it's just near and dear to my heart. The fact that we have early learning as a commitment is very, very important because we know how important that foundation is, and we know the good work that our folks have been doing in the Early Learning Center, making our Early Learning Center one of the best in the state, making sure that our kids coming out of that Early Learning Center are ready to learn in whatever environment they go into next. So not every district has that commitment. And so I'm really excited that we have it, and I'm really excited that we're maintaining it, and looking very forward to supporting that, going forward, because I'd really like to see, every child that wanted to go to, to pre-K or what have you, have that opportunity because it helps us, long term. So I really appreciate that commitment, and appreciate your folks for making sure that happens. So anybody else have questions? Anything? Okay. All right, we're going to go on to the last item under items for information, and that is our safety and security update. And Campbell, I think you're going to take it away for us here.
Again, good evening, Madam President, members of the board, superintendent, ladies and gentlemen. What you have before you is our numbers from August to April of last year, from August to April of this year. I want you to pay attention to our out-of-school suspension numbers, they have decreased by 82%, which is very significant. Our long-term suspensions have increased only due to the reporting, how we're reporting it now. Seems like a major increase of 111% of an increase. Our expulsions are down 46%. And all these numbers are significant to what we do, because what that means is what we have in place, all of our safety and security measures are actually working. Not only that, it also means that our amazing teams in the buildings, our principals and teachers are actually feeling more comfortable with reporting things and taking control of things before they escalate to a different level. Also, the systems in place that the principals have to offset the suspensions, the out-of-school suspensions, have actually worked. So I am very proud of these numbers that we have. In my experience, that means that, again, everything that we're doing is actually working. So I'm very proud of all the numbers that we have. And that's all I have for right now. Any questions for me?
Let's start with you, Mr. Humphrey. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Teresa?
No question.
Any questions?
No questions.
No questions. No questions.
Okay. I have no questions. I just wanted to say thank you again, because I like seeing those numbers go down like that.
Absolutely.
And so keep up the good work on that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We're going to move on, excuse me, to section number 7, which is items for discussion and action. And we're going to start out with topic 7.01, which is a district-wide copier replacement. We're going to talk a little bit about the new contract and the new vendor.
Good evening.
Hello.
Sorry. Good evening, Board President. Good evening, board members. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Triplett. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Mirzoev. I'm a technology director. Here I'm today in front of you seeking for your approval for replacing our current copiers. So if you pay attention to your screens, you will see our current equipment overview. We have 64 in total devices which was listed 5 years ago. So 38 of them is large format copiers for the offices, and 26 of them is desktop printers. So if we're going to cost breakdown, existing contract was for 5 years. Each month we're paying between $15,000 to $18,000. This is approximately price. This is the minimum one because it's changed from the months how we're printing. So yearly we're spending around $188,000, and it was costing for 5 years as almost $1 million. So our new proposal is going to cut it almost half. As you pay attention, it's 449, it's 450,000, let's say. Now you're seeing on your screen the comparison of the cost savings. On the left side, our existing contract, and the new proposal monthly will be $7,483, and yearly it will be around $90,000. And for 5 years, it's 400, let's say 450. So when we look on the cost savings, monthly, it's again approximately $8,000 saving. Yearly, it will be around $100,000. And in 5 years, we're going to save almost $500,000. So now I'm here again. Let me repeat, so to seeking your approval so I can move forward with this new contract.
Okay, thank you.
If you have any questions.
Any questions? I'll start at this end. Any questions?
I have no questions at this time.
Any questions?
Thank you, Zach. My question would be, how many contracts of this type does the district currently have?
This is I think, the last one, the old contract that I'm trying to cut off. From the date I started here, this is, I think, the last biggest one.
So if this contract is approved, then there are no other contracts for copier machines, no other leases for copy machines.
No. It was last year for renewal for, what it's called, our print shop. It was. This is totally for the copiers that we have in the buildings.
So then there's a contract for the print shop and a contract for this.
Yes.
And do we have any information on the print shop and how that is differentiated from the purchase of this contract?
We're not purchasing, this is going to be lease.
Right.
Yes. I can give you more information.
Is there a
on
lease
that.
of equipment associated with the print shop?
Oh, yes, yes, I have that. It was already, I think, board, we brought it to board. Board signed that, approved that, moving forward with that. And it was a same amount of, like, I think in the print shop, I have 3 machines, which is for much bigger one for the printing much more amount. This one is kind of just for the building purpose only.
So for clarity, we do have 2 contracts similar in nature.
It's not similar in nature because we can make it the same, but I'm trying to cut down the cost. My job firstly is trying to bring down all this cost because unnecessary contract which was already before me.
Yeah, I understand bringing down the costs, and I really applaud that these numbers look great in terms of the cost savings and the cost reduction. I'm just wondering, is there a redundancy in the services? Is there a redundancy in these types of contracts? If there are printing services for the print shop, then there are also these printing services based on this lease agreement, then there's the potential for there to be some redundancy of services, and therefore, how real is the cost savings? How real are the cost savings?
Yes, definitely, you're right. We're putting on these machines, now we're putting the special software so that we can track that amount it was printed and vested. So this way, we're trying to bring it down too. Like, let's say that it's, again, leasing options is every time includes printing too. So when we start tracking it, like putting like a special software which will check it and we track it. So we will, everyone will have the limits, okay? So no one can vest it, print it, and no pickups. So this way, my future goal is kind of right now cut off all these contracts, and then after this, go behind it, so bring it down and replace with these district machines instead of leasing and financing this stuff.
I think Dr. Petty, to answer your question, allow us to look at the previous board meeting and find that report, just look at that comparative analysis, and then weigh that against this to see if there's an actual savings, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point. I want to yield to other questions to other board members, but I do think it's hard to support a recommendation like this when there's a potential for redundancy of services. And of course, we've had several conversations about this.
Yeah.
So and we've been aware of the redundancy of services. We've discussed that. We've acknowledged that. And so, you know, just looking forward to realize cost savings because we're not paying for the print shop to do printing, and then we're not buying a lease for these machines to do printing as well.
But this is not, and that's not uncommon. Many districts have a print shop and have multiple contracts with regards to printing, print shops, the people in the print shop, and then district copy machines.
Right.
That's not an uncommon situation.
So let me clarify. So when you say that you have the print shop, so if I needed to get a classroom full of stuff printed, I'm sending that to the print shop.
Yes, ma'am.
What you're speaking of right here is I have a copier that's in my building and I need to make 5 handouts for, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's even a different size and caliber of machine.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's print shop is used for multiple things, you
Yeah,
know,
so it's
like printing
things.
posters.
Like your Kinko's,
Communication
if you-
department
Okay.
is using
Gotcha.
for signs and all that stuff.
So this is like kind of it sounds like this is kind of like the first big cut at trying to get some of that under control, and it may mean that down the road, we may need to do something else with the print shop too. I don't know. I don't know enough about that, but yeah, okay. I get it. I think your point's well taken.
Let me say that about the print shop. Actually, by changing the contract at the print shop, we cut a lot of around. It was on the document. I don't remember the exact number. It was more than $200,000 too on that one.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was you guys
And the one
signed
we
it,
already
approved that.
Yeah.
Just for clarity's sake, we don't actually know how much money we're actually saving if the print shop is not part of the discussion. There's a lot more to the print shop than just the machine. And we've had those conversations. There's also the person that works the print shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do we know what the real savings are? I'm just asking that question. So let's,
Talking to the mic because they
Use your
can't hear
mic.
you. No, just talking to the mic so they can hear you. Okay. So basically what I'm hearing you say is that you would just like some clarity as to what the true savings is going to be, okay, or what it has been, okay, which is fair. And it looks like what I'm seeing is that we're trying to overall, as it relates to printing, bring those costs down pretty substantially. And it sounds like there's even more that we can do. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that we're mixing in manpower with machinery. And so the manpower is there to run the machines, right? And so, again, President Milton Roberts, what we'll do is we'll do that comparison and
Yeah.
make sure we just have
Yeah.
that for informational purposes, and we can send it out to the
Does
JGB.
that sound okay, Dr. Petty? Does that sound good to get that information for you?
so are we, is this an item for action tonight?
This is an item for, yes, it is an item for
So are
action.
we tabling it until we get the information?
We'll have to see what everybody feels. Yeah, we have to make a motion to do that.
Before to make a motion, I have a question.
Just
Yeah,
to
we-
bring
we have
the
some- we have
clarity,
some other
every time we're
questions.
not
sorry.
renewing, we're losing between $12,000-$15,000 a month. If we
Repeat what
don't.
you just said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part.
I'm saying that if it's pushed back, I'm just trying to say that
Okay.
monthly it will cost district between $12,000-$15,000
Because we'll
because
keep-
we are still paying the old contract.
So so we lose $12,000 worth of savings, okay?
Yes.
Gotcha, okay. All right, so I think you asked your question, but I don't think we got it to go to this side, so let's go to this side. Did you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I have a comment, also a question. Good evening. I do remember on last year, we voted on that contract for the print shop. It says that you are asking for monies for 38 large format copiers.
Oh,
How
this-
many?
Yeah.
So those would be the larger ones. Would those be used? Where would those particular 38 be used?
This 38, when it says large format, it
Mm-hmm.
means that up to 11 by 17. Okay, so it's not like a big
Mm-hmm.
postage machines. This will be used directly at schools' main offices, teacher lounges,
Okay.
the type of the main locations where everyone can print.
And where will the 26 desktop copiers be?
Desktop copiers mostly is nurses, confidential documents that when they need to print, like a small admin offices, like a HR, because they need to have access for secure printing.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense.
Right now, is there a cap on the prints?
Right now,
Right now?
it's no caps on the prints, but we already have put implemented software where we can see that how many who printed.
So are you saying that the savings are due to you putting the cap on them?
No,
Part of the
this is
savings are due to putting the cap on them?
no.
Okay.
So the savings is due to the equipment
Yes,
contract? okay.
getting all
And
the
then
So if you
equipment.
print the exact same amount of copies that we tend to print right now, you still save the same amount of money that you're putting in these? in this
Yes.
contract?
When we put the cap, it will be more savings.
to drive it.
What I'm trying to say.
Okay. Okay. All right. Other questions? Go ahead.
When going for the bid for this proposal, was there any teachers on the committee for this bid?
For teachers,
Yes.
no.
That's my only question.
Well, this contract existed before. You know what? I've been knowing you 3 years. Don't can't even pronounce your last name, Zach.
He just
But the contract existed before then, and what Zach is working to do is just kind of decrease the amount of monies we're paying out on these machines. So, and I hate to just keep beating the dead horse, but there are two different contracts. There are two different contracts, and that's and that's it's not a Normandy thing. That's probably every school district in the world who has a print shop and who has printers. Those are two different contracts. Those two different companies.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot.
Yeah, because one deals with industrialized equipment and one deals with school building related equipment.
Gotcha. Okay. Mr. Humphrey, I think you had a question.
Yeah, just to clarify in the conversation, the contract that we're currently looking at is simply trying to contain the costs of the printers that are used in the buildings, and it has nothing to do with what's happening in the print shop.
Right.
Yes.
Now, the other question is that if you're looking for true savings, when does the contract in the print shop end? When does it come to an end?
Print shop, it was, I think, we renewed last year.
Yeah.
So it's, I think, a 3-year contract it was.
Okay, so we still have some time. So,
Yes.
so really, this is just an analysis on printers and buildings only, and it has nothing to do with the other one.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I do have another question. Also, with some printing companies or companies that you use, say personal at home, I remember when my daughter had purchased one, and she had to pay a monthly fee for those. So we're looking at the monthly fee, what it's going to cost us each month. Is there a limit on the amount of copies that can be made? And if so, are there additional charges for that?
So let me repeat again. So this is the amount, it's approximate. So when you lease, it's one amount. It's like a 4,000 something machines. It costs. Other three is agreement, a service agreement. Service agreement covers everything that you print. Okay, everything you print, let's say 1,000 pages you print. Let me explain a little, okay? So fixing, calling them, services, everything is free because they're taking from the print.
Okay.
It's covered.
It's all
And you did mention there is no cap on the amount of printing that you can do each month.
Because old machines was not supporting it.
Okay.
So new machines will come on it already.
Okay.
It's, if you read it, it says turnkey. So it will come already with all equipment and software installed on it.
Okay. Other questions?
I think
Slide
Yeah,
it
we
down and
should've
touch
just-
it. There you go.
Well, as we listen to this conversation around copiers, I think there's some additional conversation that we need to have about this. And what I would suggest is that because this is involving a contract, that we would actually move this into executive session this evening to have some additional because there's some additional information that I think we need to look at as a part of the decision. So I'm not saying that we're not going to necessarily make a decision, but I think we need to be extremely intentional about how we look at this and consider any information that we need to look at to make sure. Based on the numbers I see, those numbers on the surface look good, but there's some things that we need to have a conversation about before we can get to a point of a vote. So, Madam Chair, I would ask that you would consider a motion to move this item to executive session for this afternoon for some more nuanced conversation.
I definitely would.
So let me ask: are we moving it to executive session for what exactly?
Further discussion.
Well, for some additional discussion.
Around what is it particularly? Contract or just because I don't want to flirt between what's executive and what's public.
Well, the fact that it's involving a contract there's some additional information that the board needs to consider that has not been part of this conversation.
So do we plan on, so we don't plan on approving this in executive, do we?
It could, after the discussion, we could end up approving it in executive session.
Right.
It's just prudent that we have some additional conversation.
Right.
So should Zach accompany us?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so
We
we
need
got a motion on the floor, we need to. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. We have a motion on the floor, we need a second, that we move this agenda item to our executive session, which will follow this meeting. It has been moved and properly seconded. Mr. Petty was the second.
Yes, ma'am.
That we move this item to our executive session. All those, can we just do a regular roll call or do a regular vote?
Just a regular vote.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed.
All those opposed?
Aye.
So it looks like the ayes have it, so
Ayes
we'll
have
move
it,
it to the executive session and get whatever additional clarification we need at that time. The next item that's on here is, and Zach, thank you very much, by the way. We asked a whole lot of questions, and I really appreciate you hanging in there with us while we try to make sure we understand. The next one that we have on here is item number 7.02, which is Harris Stowe State University, the TRIO Educational Talent Search Program. And so we want to talk a little bit about that.
Try to walk away.
Good evening again. I would like to introduce Ms. Jackson, who's a former student of Dr. Triplett, in addition to Dr. Morton, who is the executive director for the program. They're here to give a briefing and answer any possible questions.
Hi, Shania.
Well, good evening. So our program, we are a grant-funded program. It is a 5-year program. So within our program, we serve high school and middle school students. We serve 6 schools, 3 different school districts. So we serve Normandy School District, Riverview School District, and Jennings School District. We serve Normandy High School and Lucas Crossing Middle School. So with those students, starting at the middle schools, we make sure that we expose them to college life and then high school life as well. We have had this grant in place with Normandy since 2021. With that being COVID, we were able to get into the schools in 2022. And just being able to just work with those students so they can understand what college is about. I can attest to what we did last year with the Lucas Crossing Middle School. I had a cohort of, I want to say about 32 students, and most of them were 8th grader students. We were able to take them to Mizzou for free. Everything that we do within our program is free. We don't ask the parents for anything. So we took them to Mizzou because we did a poll to see where they wanted to go. So we took them to Mizzou. They were able to see the campus, get to understand what it'll look like once they do go to college, even though they have a lot of years ahead of them, but still being able to expose them at a young age of what college is like. One thing that I know that I wanted to work on with my 8th graders was making sure that they were prepared for high school. So what we did was make sure that they understood their GPA and why it matters. And then just making sure that they were ready for high school on an emotional standpoint as well. So right now, those same 8th graders or 9th graders at Normandy High School, and right now I still use them as my cohort. So I met with them every Wednesday, and we just made sure that their grades were correct. That's why we asked, like in the commitment letters, if we have access to the system that you guys are using to make sure that we keep track of what they're doing and how they're doing it. And also, we do have to report on our students at the end of the school year. So just making sure that my students within a high school have everything that they need and doing everything that they need to do. So right now, I have about 4 freshmen. They are receiving a Missouri scholarship. So basically, every year they will get $2,500 if they do everything that's asked of them within that. And then a lot of them are, their GPA is between 3.5 and 3.8. And I'm very happy that they are doing that as freshmen. And then I make sure that my seniors come in and tell them about the importance of what the GPA means. And then right now with my seniors, I have a lot of seniors. They are doing great things. One of my seniors, she had received the alumni scholarship of $20,000. We make sure, yes, we're housed at Harris Stowe, but I don't solely recruit for Harris Stowe. But if my student do say they want to go to Harris Stowe, I make sure that they get prepared for Harris Stowe. So if I could brag on a couple of my seniors. One of my seniors by the name of Leia Gainey, she is receiving the Presidential Scholarship. I had another senior last year. She received the Presidential Scholarship. We also had, I'm a beggar, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a beggar. So if any of my students say that they wanna go to Harris Stowe, I'm in the admissions office trying to see what scholarships I can help them with. And also we have an amazing relationship with our president. So if I ask her, hey, I know they don't have the GPA, but is there any way that we can give them a scholarship? So I make sure if they're coming to Harris Stowe, they are taken care of. But if they want to go to a different university, I make sure that I'm on top of that as well. We do a lot of training, professional development. So I meet a lot of people across the world that's doing TRIO. So one of my students by the name of Kamaya, she's going to Livingstone for free. So we just make sure we just help the students.
Before you go, state your name and your title.
Okay. And my name is Shania Jackson, and I currently serve as the interim director for TRIO Educational Talent Search. And that's it.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Kim Morton. I'm the executive director of the TRIO programs at Harris Stowe State University. I also served as a 7th and 8th grade teacher at Normandy Middle School from 2001 to 2006. So Normandy has a special place in my heart. And we're really excited about being in the Normandy School Collaborative, making sure that students have their FAFSA filled out, making sure that we have ACT, SAT prep, making sure that we are having after-school programming for students, also making sure that they are well-versed and making sure that they're pre-college ready, right? So Shania and I are really working together to make sure that we have students who are doing well in middle school throughout high school and to college and beyond. So we help navigate that whole from middle school, high school, and then if they come to Harris Stowe, we also have a SSS program. If they don't come to Harris Stowe, they can go to other TRIO programs wherever they go to college. I'm a TRIO alum as well, and so we know that TRIO works. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I do. So it says that you meet bi-weekly, right?
Use your mic.
If it comes on, I will.
You gotta slide down.
Slide down.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So it says that you meet with them bi-weekly, twice a week?
Yes, ma'am. We try to.
So are you pulling them during a particular block?
So we, I know with my freshman cohort, she allowed me to meet with them. It's from 9:30 to 10:30, so just for an hour. But like the upperclassmen, they can come to my office, or if it's something that I need to meet with them, like a dying need, I just pull them from their class. But I try not to. So it's like if they need to see me, I'm in my office ready for them to come. But if I do need to pull them, yes, I do pull them from the class.
So this doesn't take the place of a class?
No, ma'am, it does not.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Best of luck with your program.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a freshman, and she needs to meet you. She was Student of the Month this month, and her GPA is 3.5. I'm bragging on her a little bit. She didn't want to come today. But I thank you for what you're doing for the students, because it's so important. Sometimes those students get left behind just because they don't have the extra look at them. So I thank you for that due diligence that you're doing with our students.
Thank you. And then something that I didn't mention, we serve first generation low income students as well. So if the parents don't have a bachelor's degree, we can serve them.
Can I mention one thing? We also have a dual enrollment program with the Normandy Collaborative as well, and so we help students with transportation and things like that to come to Harris Stowe, and I just wanted to mention that as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, go down to this side here. And Mr. Humphrey, do you have any?
I have no questions.
Teresa?
I have no questions, but thank you for being in our district. I've heard nothing but great things about the program. I've witnessed some of the students that have participated in the program, so thank you.
Thank you.
I have a 14-year-old granddaughter, and I would love to introduce her to you all. And I just want to say that I've been receiving her grades. They send them to me weekly, and I'm truly impressed with her. Can't remember the teacher's name all the way in the back. She remembers my granddaughter. And she wasn't doing so well at one time, but I'm really impressed. But I think 'cause she said to me, Gran, I think I want to go to Texas State University. And I'm thinking, as scary as you are, I know you don't want to leave home right now, but I think this program will be an excellent program for her. So I'm definitely going to make sure that she gets the information and that she reaches out.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thank you for your enthusiasm and thank you for your commitment. That's a lot of work, and we really do appreciate it because we've got some really brilliant young people, and they just need that little bit of extra that will help them to get where they need to be. So we really appreciate you, both of you actually, and all that you do. And if there's anything you need us to do, then definitely let us know. Now, I'm looking at this on the agenda, so I'm thinking that you're wanting us to make a motion to approve this as an MOU. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Can I get
So
a...
moved.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded that we embark on an MOU with Harrisville State University's TRIO Education Talent Search Program and the wonderful representatives that they have put before us. All those in favor?
Aye.
I think that was a unanimous aye.
Any opposed?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just making sure.
She's making sure. I appreciate you. Thank you. No, okay. We're going to move on to item number 7.03, which is create a loop.
Good evening again. The MOU for Create a Loop has been deferred.
Okay.
Should we pick it up, you all will see it presented later, but for now, it's been deferred.
Do we need to take any official action on that at all? Okay, all right.
Nope.
Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to, section number 8. Did I miss something?
7.04.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ready to skip over something that we added. 7.04, which is discussion about MSBA delegate and alternate. And so I guess I can say a little bit about that. We received a call from MSBA because we had not, as a board, made a decision about who we would like to have as the delegate and the alternate. We need both for the upcoming school year for MSBA. The person that we select will have an opportunity to represent us and also to help to teach us about some of the items that are really, really important from a legislative standpoint, really helping to get MSBA to understand what we are all about as a district and to help to make sure that the things that are being advocated for are things that we as a district support. We've got lots of things going on in the legislation right now. And so this is going to be a very important position. And so at this moment in time, I'd like to have people kind of, if you could, let me know if anyone has an interest in being an MSBA representative for the Normandy Schools Collaborative. And if you have such an interest, we can then proceed from there. And I think I've chatted with some of you about it as well. We've talked about what it is because somebody asked me.
I'm interested in being the delegate for MSBA.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right. So we have someone that has stepped forward and said that she's interested in being the delegate. My understanding is that they meet both at the Summer Summit and also at the MSBA conference in the fall. But if you're not able to go to both, then you and the alternate can kind of work through that if that was what we do. So what we'd like to do is to take a vote on that, if that's okay. Does anybody else have an interest in being a representative? Anybody?
I would have an interest in being an alternate.
An alternate? Okay. So let's take care of the delegate first, okay? Is that okay? All right. So with that, I need to have a motion, if you wouldn't mind, for someone.
So moved.
So moved, okay. So it's been moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that Ms. Director Teresa Pearson represent the Normandy Schools Collaborative as our MSBA delegate for this coming school year. And all the things that it ensues, including coming back and sharing with the board what you learned and so forth. You're going to be kind of our education guru. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. All right, that was pretty easy there. Okay. So now we are going to designate you, and just so you know, we will be sending your name in to MSBA, and we'll do that tomorrow, so that you may be getting some emails and things like that from them, okay? Okay, so with that, we also need to designate someone to be an alternate. And so, Dr. Petty, you had said that you had an interest in being an alternate. Is there anyone else that has an interest in being an alternate? Anyone? Going once, going twice? Okay, so it seems like we have just one person that's interested in being an alternate, and that's Dr. Petty. And so I guess we will go ahead and ask for a motion to.
So move.
So moved.
Second.
And it's been seconded. So with that, let's have a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I think anybody opposed? Nope, I think we have a unanimous vote. Okay, so I think that we have that in place. So same information to you. I'll be sending the names in, and then they'll be contacting you via email with any information. And so we're really looking forward, this is not something that we've actually done in the past, so we're really looking forward to getting this going within our board, okay? Okay, with that, let's go on to item number 8.01, which is policies, and these are items for consent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Let's see, does anybody have any? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. We have 8.01, which is policies. We also have our checklisting, which we've also reviewed. It's 8.02. We have minutes from the past meeting, that's 8.03. We have minutes from the swear-in board meeting, which is 8.04, and also from the work session, which is 8.05. And then the IBB agreement, which is a 2-year agreement for our educators. And so this is by consent. And so I'd like to get a motion for this to be approved. Can I get a motion for this to be approved, please?
So move.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions?
All in favor?
All in favor? All in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Do a roll call vote. Do a roll call, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. The vote on the floor is to approve the consented items. We'll start with Director Humphrey,
Yes.
Director Pearson,
Abstain.
Secretary Taylor,
Abstain.
President Roberts, Milton Roberts,
Yes.
VP Edwards,
Yes.
Director Dr. Petty,
Abstain.
Director Davis Day.
Okay. So with that, we do not have a majority. So I guess what we need to find out is what are some of the questions that people have of that, are concerns. So we can start with Director Pearson.
I'm abstaining from everything else I'm in agreement with except for 8.04 and 8.05. So that's my reasoning for abstaining.
Okay. So you're good with policies, checklisting, board minutes, and the IBB?
IBB contract, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. And let's see, I think, who else do we have? I think Violet.
I am abstaining because I feel that there are additional questions that need to be discussed in the executive meeting on the
Any particular item or just on general?
item 8.06.
Okay. And then Dr. Petty?
I think we need to seek clarification for how the minutes are recorded and how do we verify and solidify the accuracy of the minutes.
Okay,
So I'm concerned with 8.05.
8.05, okay. Okay. So it looks like, it sounds like I'm sorry, did I miss the other?
Davis Day.
Davis Day, yeah. Did I miss you? I'm sorry.
You did. My concerns are 8.02.
8.02, okay. Can you share a little bit more about what your concern is there?
I have a few questions
Okay.
about checks.
Okay. All right. Is it appropriate for her to ask those questions in this part of the meeting, or what should we do? I'm just gonna, because I've never had that happen before, so.
Yeah,
Or should we just
it'll take
refrain
forever
from-
because it's probably
That's-
tons of checks.
Yeah.
So I would,
You want to just
the-
pull the checklisting?
I wouldn't,
from a
because
particular
that'll
date?
defer payment and mess up your credit.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe this is well, Carlton's not here, is he?
That's why I was asking.
Since it's
So,
public information, she should be able to ask the question. She may not get the answer straight.
That's what I'm
yeah,
afraid
she
of. I don't
can
have the
ask the
answer.
question, but it's like,
Gotcha.
I don't have the
1,000
answer.
Gotcha.
checks.
Yeah, because depending on the question, it could impact contract.
Absolutely.
Depending
Right.
on what the payment is. So,
Nobody else has a question, then I'll remain abstaining, and you can address the rest of your questions in the floor.
That's fair.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So what I would like to do, however, because I don't want you to not have your questions answered, is that we come back and make sure that, we get your questions answered, because I think that's very important. Okay, so let's do that.
President Milton Roberts, I would ask the board to vote on each one individually.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to have to do. Okay. Okay, so let's start out, and can I get a motion to approve the policies as presented in the consent agenda?
so we'll.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the policies as presented in the items for consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I believe the ayes have it. With that, we'll move on to check listings, item 8.02. Would like to get a motion that we approve the check listings as noted in the consent agenda. Item 8.02.
So move.
Okay, it's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the check listing as listed in the consent agenda, item 8.02. All those in favor?
We do a roll call vote.
Yes, we can.
The roll call vote on the floor is to approve the check listing under consented items. We'll start with, I'm sorry, let me get ready. Director Davis Day.
Abstain.
Okay.
Director Dr. Petty.
Abstain.
VP Edwards.
Yes.
President Milton Roberts.
Yes.
Secretary Taylor.
Abstain.
Director Pearson.
Yes.
Director Humphrey.
Yes.
The yes has it for check listing.
Okay, so it has been approved. The next item, it is board minutes, item 8.03. I'd like to get a motion on the floor to approve those minutes as listed in our items for consent.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the board minutes as listed in the consent agenda, item 8.03. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye. Do we need-
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. All those opposed? Okay, so it seems like that one has it. We're going to go on to item number 8.04, swear-in board minutes. That is an item on the consent agenda, and we are looking for a motion to approve the board minutes for the swear-in board minutes for item 8.04.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the swear-in board minutes consent agenda item 8.04. All those in favor
Can
signify.
we do a roll call vote?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Can you do that for us?
The roll call vote on the floor is to approve 8.04 swear-in board minutes. We'll start with Director Humphrey,
Yes.
Director Pearson,
Abstain.
Secretary Taylor,
Yes.
President Milton Roberts,
Yes.
Vice President Edwards,
Yes.
Director Dr. Petty,
Yes.
Director Davis Day.
Yes.
The yes has it.
The next item is also on the consent agenda. We're looking for a motion for the approval of item 8.05, board work session meeting minutes. And I need a motion for 8.05 board work session meeting minutes.
So moved.
Do we have a second for 8.05 board work session meeting minutes?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Do you want to do a roll call vote on this one as well?
Please.
Okay. Do a roll call vote on this one, please.
Yes, ma'am. The vote on the floor is for consented item 8.05, board work session meeting minutes. We'll start with Director Davis Day,
Yes.
Director Dr. Petty,
No.
Vice President Edwards,
Abstain.
President Milton Roberts,
Abstain.
Secretary Taylor,
Yes.
Director Pearson,
Abstain.
Director Humphrey.
Abstain.
That one, hold on. So that one does not pass. We've abstained on that one. Okay. And then the last one is item 8.06 on the consent agenda. And this is for the IBB agreement, two-year IBB agreement. I need a motion to vote on this item.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded for item 8.06, the two-year IBB agreement for our educators. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry.
I said all those in favor.
For this one, did you say move it into executive session?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
So we need a roll call vote.
Oh, wait, you said
I-
nobody.
I
I
requested to
take
move
that,
it to-
I
yeah.
apologize, you did. So we need a roll call vote to do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize, I forgot that you
So
said
for
that.
clarity, the vote on the floor is to move this to executive session, the IBB discussion,
Yes.
for further discussion.
Yes.
I'm going to say that again.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
So the vote on the floor is to move 8.06 IBB agreement for further discussion
Right.
in the executive session. We'll start with Director
Go ahead.
We do know that that's a public document that we're taking into executive session. I want to be cautious
Yeah.
that we know that we're taking an IBB agreement into an executive session.
What's the reason behind?
Yeah, I don't, what was your,
It's not an executive session
Right.
item.
What was her question?
what was your question?
I'll do a motion to remove it from the executive session.
We need
Okay.
a motion.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a motion to
I make the
remove.
motion to remove it. Mm-hmm.
A motion to remove the motion.
The
Yes.
motion to remove the motion, yeah.
Yes. Yep, that's
Okay.
it, to remove.
Okay.
So that's Taylor, and we need a second.
Second.
Edwards.
Okay, it's been moved.
So are we voting, to approve it? Okay. So the vote that's on the floor now is to,
Remove it from,
From executive session first.
yes. But now we're voting, okay, I need clarity.
We're voting to remove it,
And
then
it's
after that, we'll
removed.
vote
then we have to.
Approve it,
Yeah,
that's what I
exactly.
was saying.
Right.
So the vote on the floor now is to approve the,
The vote on the floor right now is
Approve the removal.
to approve the
to
removal.
remove it.
The vote to remove it, and then we're gonna do a vote to approve
Yeah.
it.
Got you. So the vote on the floor is to remove it from the executive session.
Exactly.
We'll start with Director Davis Day.
Did we get a motion and a second
We
on this?
did, we
Yes,
have
we did.
Taylor and Edwards.
Okay.
Thank you, Director. Director Dr. Petty,
Yes.
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 Secretary Taylor, thank you.
I'm just gonna abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
The yeses has it. Now, the vote on the floor is to approve 8.06 under the consent items.
Right.
We'll start with Director Humphrey,
Yes.
Director Pearson,
Yes.
Secretary Taylor,
Abstain.
President Milton Roberts,
Yes.
VP Edwards,
Yes.
Director Dr. Petty,
Yes.
and Director Davis Day.
Yes.
So that has been approved under the consented items, which is 8.06.
Okay. Okay. That was laborious.
9.8.
Okay, so now we're at 9.01, so we're having the approval of the consent.
No, we've actually,
already
we did that because we went item by item.
Right. Okay, so now we're at item number 10, which basically is almost to the end. It's an opportunity for the board announcements and comments. And so I'm going to actually start at my right here with Mr. Humphrey, if you'd like to start.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank everyone in attendance tonight and for the reports that were made.
Yes.
And I would also like to say, I was also at the Power School meeting at the high school, and I think he did a phenomenal job of organizing it. And I do know that the actual results from that meeting, there were 99 families that actually signed up. So that takes us to, I believe the number is like 805 because we were at 706 at the end of April. So hats off to him and the work. The thing that I was most impressed with was that as he put it together, he had representatives from every school building in the district. And so that way when parents came, they were able to engage people that they knew from the schools that their children were attending. So I think he did a phenomenal job in that regard. Also, he used it as an opportunity for any parent that might live in a food desert or have a shortage of food, as it were, because there was food available for them to take home with them. So I thought he did a very good job of not only the Power School, but attending to the needs of parents that were there. And I would also like to give a special thanks to my board colleagues tonight, because tonight was a very interesting meeting. We've nuanced a number of issues, and I think as we go forward, we're going to become more intentional around how we discuss things. And I think as we go forward, we'll have a great deal more clarity about the issues that we're working on, because some of the issues that people sustained on, we just need to be able to visit with those and really understand what that's all about, because when one understands, we all understand. And so I'll just stop there.
Thank you. Director Pearson?
Good evening, everyone. Since our last meeting, I've attended a lot of events, gathered a lot of information. The main one is the Annual Education Summit, which was hosted by our Senator Brian Williams, DESE Commissioner Dr. Carla Essingler. I think I'm saying that. Essingler, okay. And our own Pamela Westbrook Hodges. It was very informative because we learned about different procedures that are going on in the state. Our state representatives are working hard to make sure that us as their citizens are getting what we need and deserve. Speaking of legislation, yeah, that word. Today, SB 1481 was passed. That is the cell phone ban in schools. Yes. So that's in the state of Missouri, not just the city. Normally just happen to step ahead of the goal. I attended the Week of the Young Child with the Normandy Early Learning Center and Urban Sprouts, which was a great event, great weather. Hundreds and hundreds of families, so thank you to them. The LM39 Foundation weekend was this past weekend, and it rained all weekend. But thankful to Dr. Triplett and the operations team for making sure that we were sheltered, and they didn't think twice about it. We didn't need for anything. If we asked for it, we got it within seconds, probably more than what we needed. And thank you all for that. Power School Night again was a great success. I attended 10 minutes of the high school prom because that was also the night of the LM39 Foundation weekend, and it was great. But I also attended the Early Learning Center prom.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I think I had more fun than the kids, but we're not gonna tell them that. So shout out to Dr. Payne and his crew. You all do a great job at all your events. Thank you. The field groundbreaking. Yeah, I'm just a girl, so I didn't get any dirt, but I'm glad to see that our field, our school, our community is getting what it deserves. My board colleagues, I placed white T-shirts in front of all y'all seats. That is from the design students in Mentors in Motion at the high school. Oh, well, it's in my bag then. I got it though. Yeah, I got you. 24-1 Chiefs Association is having a community day on Saturday from 12 to 3 at the high school. It's a great event to learn more about your community. 24 municipalities, one community. Mo Coffee has a investment program on our block, St. Louis Investment Program. It's for middle schoolers. They're targeting the highest amount of middle schoolers, which is in Normandy, Hazelwood, and I forgot the other school district. I will give that information to Mr. Trahan so that we can sign up our students to receive funding. They're receiving $13,000 by 2023. 2030, when they graduate high school. Play day in the park at Forest Park with St. Louis Summer Adventure Kickoff is May 31st. Like Jossie said, the May Day Parade is this Sunday, 1 p.m. downtown St. Louis. The Community Impact Network is having a health access advocacy. I cannot get my words out today. Advocacy and education meeting this Thursday, 5/15 from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at 1623 Kenland Avenue, 63113. Next week, all of our babies will be graduating from the pre-K, the 5th graders, the 8th graders, and the seniors. My main note to you is they can't take anything away from you but notes. Y'all have a good evening.
Good evening again. I would just like to say, as we come to another close of a great school year, we just do want to give a shout out to our superintendent, to Riggs, my sister down there, to the board members, to the teachers, the staff, the counselors, the food service workers, the maintenance workers, the bus drivers, Human Resources, Dr. Brooks, Mr. Brooks, he told me he's not a doctor, Mr. Carlton Brooks, to security, to everyone who stepped up this year. And when we began this school year in September, we didn't know what the school year was going to hold. We have gone through quite a few transitions throughout the school year. We know that when the cell phone ban came out, we know that it was not only a concern for parents, it was an issue for some of the parents as well. But it sounds like we made it through. And we are coming to the close of another school year. And as I often say it, I say it every year, this is the time of the year when I pray the most, because I pray for our children. And a lot of times the children come to school every day, and you all, the teachers, counselors, the nurses, all of those that interact with the children, you all see the children, but a lot of times you don't know what they are going through or what they're experiencing. Some of them come to school each day, and maybe the cafeteria worker is wondering why this one particular child is always asking for more food. Maybe it's because he doesn't have any food at home. Some may be asking, why does one little child come to school each day, and maybe he smells funny, or maybe his hair is not combed. Have you considered maybe they don't have electricity or running water? And so as we enter the end of the school year, there are a lot of parents that are out there. And when I say parents, mothers who are working and they leave their children at home. I'm not going to say a lot because I know that this is being broadcast. And they leave their children at home. And a lot of times they leave their children as unsuspected victims. They are victims. And so as we go into this summer, and as you prepare to spend your summer vacation doing what you do, continue to pray for our children. And if you see things that are happening to children in your neighborhood or your community, in your church, in your family, tell somebody. Let somebody know, because we never know what our children are going through. And we know it does take a village to raise a child. And so we are the village. We are the village, and it's up to us. And so continue not only to pray for our children, but let us pray for one another, because our country is in a great transition, and we just don't know what's going to happen from one day to another. And so I'll just leave you with that. Continue to pray one for another. I almost said, let the church say amen. I don't have to say that, because you all know I'm going to do this I do it every month. Because prayer is what I do. Prayer is a part of my life. And so I pray for our children. I pray for you all. Pray that you have a great summer. Be careful. If you go traveling, stay with the people that you leave with. There are a lot of people that are coming up missing. We have a lot of people that are coming in, especially people of color. And so whoever you go with, stay with them. Stay together. Pray for one another. Thank you.
I'm sorry, did we wait till you took a drink?
That's okay. Good evening, board, superintendent, everybody in their respective places. I'd like to, again, thank the community for this opportunity. I am honored to sit in this seat and represent our children, represent our community, and speak on behalf of our children and make decisions on behalf of our children. I want to ask this community to show up more often for our children, from the parents to all stakeholders. You pay taxes here, you live here. Show up for our kids. Show up in these board meetings. Show up for activities. You're always invited, always. Yeah, thank you.
I simply want to thank everyone here tonight for their participation and their civic engagement. I do echo the sentiments of my board colleague, Director Davis Day, in asking that the voters become more involved in these proceedings and more involved and more engaged in what's actually happening and going on, and be diligent about seeking information. and be diligent about asking those questions that lead us to the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up this evening. I appreciate you all. It is the end of another school year. It is 8:02. It is late in the evening. But I do want to say that I appreciate all my board members and the comments that they've made here tonight. I do appreciate those comments. Only thing that I have to say is we do have some legislative bills that's still out, Senate Bill 711, that we are looking into getting in this week. So please reach out to your representatives and express your concerns about that. If you need more information about that, please look to me, email me, and I will help you understand those bills. That is it.
Okay, so what I would like to say is thank you, thank you, thank you. First and foremost for entrusting me to be a member of the board, and secondly to my board colleagues for entrusting me to actually lead the board. I'm learning, and I'm going to keep learning because that's what I do. I try and learn new stuff every day, and hopefully by doing that, I'm setting an example for all the kids that are in our district as well, because I want everybody to be a continuous learner. There's lots of cool stuff happening in our district. We have lots of really talented people that are making things happen that probably a year or two ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we wouldn't have thought would be possible. But now we've got the facilities, we've got the motivation. I think we've got the kids' attention, the family's attention, and so we're able to help the kids to do what I like to say they do, which is soar. As we embark on summer, I think it's really important to think about the fact that we don't want to lose any ground. Okay, our kids have made great progress over the course of the school year. We don't want to lose any ground. So we want to make sure that we are reaching out and grabbing every single resource that is available to us to keep our kids engaged. There's Blueprint for Summer, and people look at that and go, oh my gosh, all the camps cost. No, they don't. Some of the camps are free. There's also camps that have scholarships. Most of the Ys and the community centers and so forth, even if it's not for the whole summer, a week or 2 or 3 or 4 is very valuable. If your child doesn't know how to swim, that should be a priority in our community for our children to learn how to swim. I just saw on Instagram, there's a place that's giving out free scholarships for kids in the North County area to learn how to swim, okay? So they need to be engaged in something, okay? It's not healthy for them to just spend their summer in the house, okay? They need to be outside. They need to be digging in dirt. You don't have a yard? Call me. I've got flower pots, okay? And we can dig in dirt because that helps your child. It helps their social emotional learning. It helps them to just center themselves. It takes away stress, and it also creates an interest. So we have to find things for our kids to do. And that doesn't include putting them back on to those cell phones and iPads and so forth. Those are great devices, but those are devices for you to go get information. When kids are staring in front of them, I learned something really scary. When kids are looking at iPads and cell phones for long, extended periods of time, what that actually does is it prohibits the pieces of their brain from actually knitting and growing together like it should. And instead, we're training them to just blindly and very passively look at a screen. So they're not learning and growing the way that they need to. And it's kind of rampant. And so talk to your children about that. There's all kinds of information about that. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has information on their site about that. For those of us that live in close proximity here, we have a wonderful resource called the Natural Bridge Library. They have Gateway to Summer program. They've got a book club that happens in the summer. I want all the kids and the parents to spend some time reading this summer, okay? Read to your babies. Read to your middle schoolers. Read to your high schoolers. Your high schoolers like rap? That's okay. Have them write some rap for you because that's English language arts. But nobody should be sitting at home over the summer not doing anything. They've got to be engaged doing something because we can't lose the ground that all these hardworking educators have helped them to to cover, okay? We've got to make leaps and bounds. One of the things that I'm going to share, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Triplett, is that I was trying to figure out, how do I ensure that when I speak to people that I'm always speaking a language that's a common language, right? And I was searching for what that language might be. And so I went out and I did some discovery and, just kind of looked at our site and different things like that. And where I landed was that we as a district have made some very strong statements, and to Dr. Triplett's point, commitments about what it is we're going to actually do for our kids and for our community. And we have those statements written in the form of our vision and actually also in the form of our values. And so what we say we're going to do, and what hopefully in meetings going forward we will be able to talk about, is that at Normandy Schools Collaborative, what we're going to do is we're going to prepare global leaders for college, career, and productive citizenship. And we're going to do that by empowering a community of confident learners and valuing the unique contributions of each student. That's what we're here to do. So you hear us talking about copiers and all that kind of stuff because it's important. We have to have all those tools in place. But what's really important, what we really are here to do, is to ensure that every one of our kids, when they walk across that stage and graduate, that they can be a productive and very, very useful and impactful citizen in this world, in this country, okay? The other thing that I think it's very important is that we always talk about our board norms, how we're gonna, talk to each other and so forth when we do things on the board. But something else I think is very important is that as a district, we have to live our values. And when I say that, I don't mean just that you can recite them, okay? I can put them on a card, put them on a list, that's great. But what I mean by that is that everybody that works for the district, everybody that has a child in the district, everybody that's on the board, we need to know what those values are. And as we're making decisions, okay, as we're interacting with students, we need to make those values come to life. Our values are really clear. The first value is excellence. That's the first value, excellence. So that means we're going to put forth the effort and do whatever we have to do because we want our students to be excellent. The second value is that we do that with dignity because we don't want anybody to feel less than or, what have you. We do that with dignity. So we lead with dignity. We make sure we maintain the dignity of our students. The third one, and I'm really glad that I have this team sitting here with me, is collaboration. So you will hear us talk and you will hear us sometimes not agree. But what we always are going to do is we're going to come together at the end of it because we're going to collaborate and say, hey, Dr. Triplett, what is it we need to do? And we're going to come together and figure out what it is that we have to do collectively so that we can do what we need to do for the kids. And that's what's got to happen in our buildings, and that's what's got to happen in our community. None of us can do this by ourselves. We need all the parents. We need all the business owners. We need all the folks that are, up and down the streets, driving our buses and whatever, to help us. It's a collaborative effort. And I like the fact that we have that in our name. The next one is tenacity, because this is not work for the people that get tired, okay? And so that's one of the things that if you know me, you know that I don't get tired. I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning if it's something that I need to do. I knew you were going to say something. Okay. But I don't get tired, okay? Because I'm not doing it for me, okay? I'm doing it for a whole bunch of other folks. Whole bunch of, I wake you up too, I know. But it's important, it's that important, okay? My girls are grown up. They are standing on their own 2 feet and they're doing well. So I kind of sort of know a little bit about some of the things that you might want to do to help support Dr. Triplett and the teachers and the parents to build good kids, which they're already doing. They've sent us great kids, and we just have to give them all the stuff that they need so they can soar. And then the last piece is that our last value is about care, and that's really important, okay? If we don't care for us, nobody else is going to care for us. There's nobody else coming. So that means that we have to take great care with how we interface with one another, how we talk to one another, what we do when we're in meetings and so forth. And care is very important. Little people's voices are very important. We have to care about that. We have to hear from them. And we have to demonstrate that care, because one thing that I've learned from my two daughters is that they're watching every single second, everything you do. I have a 29-year-old that called me on Mother's Day to tell me about something that I did when she was in 3rd grade. Luckily, it was a good thing, okay? But they're watching. So if we don't treat each other with care and kindness, if we don't have a standard that's through the roof showing excellence, we're not going to get that from our scholars. So the only thing that I really want to ask all of you all, including the folks at home, is that we live our values: excellence, dignity, collaboration, tenacity, and care, that we make that come to life. That whenever we're doing something, when we're deciding a contract, when we're working with a student, those are the things that we talk about. If a student steps off the line and doesn't do things exactly right, come back to these values, because if they understand the values, they'll understand why what they decided to do may not be what they should have done, and maybe they should have had a different conversation with themselves, okay? So it's really important to me. This is really an important job for me. I've lived in this community for almost 40 years. This is a really important job for me. The only thing I like to do is to do well. Excellence is what I do. And I need lots of partners in doing that. And so I'm really, really excited about having all these folks and Dr. Triplett and all you folks out there to help me do that, because I think we can do that. We're going to be on the front of a magazine, okay? Because we did this so well. That's where we're going to be, because we did this that well. I mean, tenacity is on here. We can't accept anything less. We're going to do this. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Seriously, I do. And he can tell you, this is important. We got to do this, okay? So with that, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to hand it over to our illustrious superintendent.
Good evening. It sounds like Tony, huh?
Yeah, she did.
So before I do want to make mention, and I just kind of want to piggyback on what Director Pearson said. Miss Mitchell was here during that time, and she called me because they had a lot of trouble getting in the building. So she kind of orchestrated everyone being able to access the building. So I do want to appreciate Ms. Mitchell for that. But I want to focus on the importance of patience, trust, and confidence in the process. And I'll tell you why in a second. So patience is not passive, it's power under control. In leadership, relationships, and organizational growth, patience is often the invisible thread that holds everything together when visible pieces seem disjointed. It is the ability to endure the in-between spaces between planting and harvesting, instruction and mastery, planning and execution. To be patient is to resist the urge to micromanage, to constantly intervene, or to demand instant results. It means allowing the system to breathe, people to think, and processes to mature. Growth, whether it's in a student, a staff member, or an organization, requires time. Rushing often crushes it. But patience must be paired with confidence in others, a belief that the people entrusted with the work are capable, committed, and operating in the best care in mind, with the best care in mind. This doesn't mean blind trust. It means intentional investment. When you've trained, communicated, and modeled well, you must then step back and trust, not step in with doubt. Patience is also a form of leadership humility. It says, I don't need to be everywhere at once. I have built a strong team. I believe in their ability. It's a vote of confidence in the systems you've shaped and the people you've empowered. And so real leadership is knowing when to act and when to allow, when to direct and when to trust, when to push and when to patiently watch, because ultimately, patience reveals a deeper truth. You trust the process, you trust the people, and the kind of belief that they believe in. It builds stronger teams, better outcomes, and lasting success. The reason I'm saying is because 2 years ago, Normandy Schools Collaborative stood at a critical crossroad. We knew that if we were to become better partners for children and families, we had to make bold, intentional changes, and we did. We launched a mission of course correction. It was one rooted in integrity, accountability, and hope. We began rebranding the district to attract and retain top-tier talent. We strengthened our response to literacy challenges, student and staff trauma, and a growing ELL population. We addressed safety and security concerns head-on, implemented district-wide strategic plans, and put robust internal financial controls in place. We elevated our communication with stakeholders and created new standards of excellence across every department. The work has been tireless and transformational. In a district where every school is in turnaround mode, we cannot be linear. It must be layered, it must be strategic and simultaneously. Real teaching and learning only flourishes when solid foundations are in place, and we have heavily invested in building that foundation. While we may not see all of the gains and that we hope for immediately, we are starting to see signs of sustained progress. Sustained progress. I want to keep saying it, sustained progress. The hardest part of what we do is sustainability. And we will continue to push until our vision is fully realized. Now, here are just a few power strides that we've made. Our APR scores over the last 2 years has creeped up. The district's social media pages are receiving thousands of visits. 70% of our kindergarten have entered the first grade ready readers. Out-of-school suspensions have plummeted from 2 years ago, more than 3,000 to fewer than 300. Student fights and teacher assaults have drastically decreased due to systems implemented with Fidelity. Attendance, our 90/90 attendance has improved from under 60% 2 years ago to over 85%. Our fund balance is strong as a testament of our responsible financial stewardship and internal controls. Certified teacher fill rates has risen from just below 60% to over 95%. We now have structures, professional development structures, curriculum alignment, and streamlined approaches to partnerships, prioritizing quality over quantity. These are just numbers. These are not just numbers, they're signs of deep systemic change, and while there is still more to do, we should not overlook how far we've come. But let me be clear, none of this means anything without patience. Change of this magnitude does not happen overnight. It takes time to uproot dysfunction, to build trust, to install systems, to shift a culture. Our students are capable, our staff is committed, our community is resilient, and together we are laying the foundation for something extraordinary. President Milton Roberts said we will be on the magazine. I truly believe that. We know our current reality. We're not just naive to the challenges, but what we are is bold enough to confront them and patient enough to trust the process. Just as we have already defied many odds, Normandy Schools Collaborative will once again be accredited. Believe in the work, trust the vision, and most of all, have a little more patience, because greatness is not a matter of if, but when. Thank you.
Let's back on again. Okay. I appreciate your words. Thank you very much. With that, I think we are at the end of our meeting. We are at number 12, which is adjournment. And can I get a motion to adjourn our meeting? I'm sorry, moving to executive session. Well, adjourning to executive session. How about that?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn the general session and we move into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstain, approve, disapprove? Nope, okay, I think we're good. All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. It's time for us to go to executive session. What thing?